Hello and welcome to Sharon Local History. This video is about the hike we held on Sunday. It was combined effort of Sharon Historical Society and Sharon Friends of Conservation, and we hiked the area that is named after Wampanoag Sachem Metacom or Metacomet. He is also known by his English adopted name King Philip. The area was actually, part of the area was purchased by town of Sharon, and here is Kurt Berman, former president of Sharon Friends of Conservation, who will tell you a little bit about purchasing the land. Paul also remembered the meeting and he made a little mention.
That was a particular property there, not here, but we'll come up to it.
Perkins.
It's Perkins, right?
No, not the Perkins. The Perkins was donated. The Morse land, I believe, they paid for. What they voted for at the town meeting was a 6-acre plot. Had to do with preserving some stones that they believe were moved in order to line up with the lunar standstill. So there was a donation. I'm not positive they bought it from the Morses. I believe they did. Maybe not for full value, but
What was the name of that Native American that stood up at town meeting and blew everybody away because he explained things that I think people didn't appreciate about the significance of that land, and that's what tipped the scales to get people to, agree to pay more taxes to pay for the $600,000 to acquire that land.
We got very lucky with the weather. It was incredible, beautiful, sunny November day. The mosquitoes were bothering us a little, and I would like to thank the few people that were reading different information about Native Americans in Sharon. In the following video, Kurt explains who are trail stewards.
Trail, and what they do, we just write you down in a list of trail stewards. So, say if there's a lot of litter somewhere, and if there's a whole bunch, we can send out an email and say, hey, there's a whole lot of litter, and it's really a list of volunteers. If there's a big thing, a big project, we can get a lot of people. In the meanwhile, if you're just by yourself or your family and you see a little litter, you could pick it up, or a branch in the trail to keep the trail clear. If it's a big deal, let me know, and we can get a bunch of people down, to do that. Also, every now and then we'll be building a bridge or a boardwalk or something, and we send out an email. It's sort of a pool of volunteers, very informal sort of thing. So that's what the trail stewards. If you look on our website, Sharon Friends of Conservation, there's more information and stuff. But it's just to have a lot of people out taking care, especially little things before they turn into big things. If you just report something, that's good too. Say, angry possums threatening hikers, sort of thing.
So do you have to be a member to help?
No, anybody.
Excellent. And if somebody would like to become a member to support you, how much is membership?
It's $25 a year. That's for family. And you don't get too many things like grocery bags or coffee mugs. It's sort of a membership donation.
Because you're green, so you're not wasting, right?
But the thing, we give that, but there are little things. If you, because you don't have to be a member. If you want to be on our email list, we email about conservation issues. We email about events we're going to have. different emails we send out to, the group, but you don't have to be a member
Okay.
to be on that.
Thank you. Experimenting with sweet fern.
This is good for mosquitoes, she tells us.
I tricked them. It's poison ivy. I'm kidding.
Ha ha ha, enough joking. So it was pretty amazing for all of us to basically walk in the area where it is thought that King Philip spent time here in 1600s. King Philip is known for leading the Bloody War, King Philip War, 1675 to 1676, and that was a war, basically bloody war, very bloody, between New England colonists, and they did have some native allies, and the New England indigenous people. And here we are at the place that we call King Philip's Cave, and basically there is a large boulder that was split in two, and it kind of makes a nice chamber that we were all trying to get in. So during the hike we made frequent stops and we chatted about the Native American names that we know here in Sharon. We have few different names of different places. So for example, Massachusetts can be translated as Place of the Great Hill or High Place. Another evidence of Native Americans in the area was found on Mountain Street, East Street, as well as Gun House. There were arrowheads found over the years. By the way, when Brothers of Sacred Heart were digging a skating pond on the Deborah Sampson Park property, they did find many arrowheads that are in a collection of Sharon Library. The Fish and Game Club pond, where there were digging in there, they did also find arrowheads. Another place that apparently was occupied by Native Americans was on Highland Street. There are also some unmarked graves on Rock Ridge Cemetery here in Sharon. So those were just a few examples, and it was pretty cool to basically combine history of the Native Americans in this area with our hike. We had a great time walking, even though the hike itself is not too long. I would say it's about 3,000 feet. We stopped a lot and we paid attention to different areas, and we mixed a little bit of botany in our talk. So now we are heading from King Philip's Cave to King Philip's Rock. So we are pretty close. I also would like to thank the few people that I made do some work, for example, reading the different examples of evidence and also identifying some plants and showing directions. Thank you all. So this is King Philip's Rock, and Elaine will read from a sign done by Boy Scouts.
Rock. Here is a place where Native Americans may have met to strategize during King Philip's War, 1675 to 1676. This major conflict between colonists and a number of native tribes started in Rhode Island and southern Massachusetts and ended with the death of Wampanoag leader Metacom, also known as King Philip, second son of Massasoit. For both colonists and Native Americans, the war was the single greatest disaster of 17th century New England in proportion to population. These large rocks, erratics, were left by receding Laurentide glaciers about 20,000 years ago. Where you are now standing, the ice may have been over 1 mile thick.
So I just took a really short walk all the way around King's Philip Rock. You can see small chambers that are somewhat easy to climb through. I would like to let you know that this place is incredible playground for kids, outdoor nature playground for kids. They love going there, they love climbing on the rocks. Just be careful because the lichen can get slippery, and please do take all the garbage back home and treat the nature with respect. Thank you. So when it comes to evidence of Native Americans in town, we have incredible lake in the town, and it's called Lake Massapog, and Lake Massapog, the word, means large swamp. So that's definitely another evidence of Algonquin language. We have a street called Masquonicut, which means Great White Tail. You are also familiar with Polomolopak, which actually means deep, pleasant water. And many of you are probably familiar with the Devil's Rock, which is another great location to hike to, thanks to Sharon Friends of Conservation. And it is apparently called Devil's Rock because Puritans called Native Americans devils.
A much smaller population. 11 rulers means black persons. There's no mention of Native Americans. It is possible to find a person of Native American descent in Sharon, but the culture they represent has been absorbed and obliterated. Well, not quite obliterated. Hopefully it's coming back. In the nearly 400 years since the Dorchester proprietors bought the land, kind of shadily, from the Massachusetts natives. A few names and a few mementos are all that remain of these first Americans.
So this was the end of our hike. I would like to thank everybody who came, and I would like to encourage everybody to remember the first families of America as we know it today, and always remember their legacy and respect all their descendants. Thank you for watching Sharon Local History.